everybody, it's LaKesha from Virgo Vibe. Today I wanted to tell you a story about how I got over my fear of driving on the highway. So, some years back, I loved to drive. I couldn't wait to get my license. I would drive all over the place. I'd drive the highway all over the place. And then one day, someone ran into the back of me when I was merging off the highway. And it kind of freaked me out. I won't say kind of, it really freaked me out. It caught me really off guard. I was merging off the highway, and someone who wasn't paying attention hit me from behind. I had a yield sign, and cars were coming and they weren't getting over, so I couldn't actually jump out. And the way that the roads were designed then, there was like maybe 500 feet or less in between merging out of that lane and merging onto the next ramp. So people were merging into that lane to get onto the next exit, and I was merging into that lane to get off of the exit before. The person behind me wasn't paying attention and they ran into the back of me, and it really freaked me out. Um, Luckily for me, I needed an alignment for my car, so my car was going off to the right when I wasn't holding onto the wheel. But had it been going to the left, I would have rolled into oncoming. I would have rolled into traffic, and it could have been a lot worse. So after that happened, it kind of made me slow down a lot in driving. I was really nervous, as most people are when they get into a car accident. No one was hurt, and most people would probably call it a fender bender, but it really affected me more mentally than it did physically. Like, I had, a sore body and everything for a couple of days, and the people that hit me, they hardly had anything going on. And I do think they were under the influence of something, but it wasn't alcohol, so they didn't really get into trouble for it. And they didn't have any car insurance. So anyway, long story short, the more that I thought about this and the more that I pondered on what happened, the more fear built up in me, and I didn't want to get on the highway anymore. I didn't want to drive long distances on the highway because I would think about all the bad things that could happen. And I know a lot of us have these issues where if we think about something too long, we talk ourselves out of it because we think of all the things that could go wrong. For me, not driving on the highway, it lasted a really long time, a number of years. And I missed out on a lot of things in my life because I was too afraid to drive on the highway. I would just say that, I wasn't comfortable with going or doing it or whatever it was. And there were a couple instances where I was forced to, but I was so nervous and I just didn't ever want to do it again. So finally, it got to the point where I was just getting frustrated with myself. I realized that, people drive on the highway every day. There's truck drivers, and, you know, the big picture is that you could die at any time doing anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the highway. So to have this fear built up that this is what's going to happen to me if I ever do this, just like flying on an airplane, people fly and travel all the time for work and nothing happens to them. But when it's their time, then it's their time. So to say I'm not going to ever drive or fly again is kind of pointless, and it's just making you miss out on all the good things in life. So um, I was starting to get frustrated with myself, and then I finally decided, that I need to make a change because I'm tired of living like this. And it wasn't easy to just be like, okay, I'm going to do it. I thought about it, and, I beat myself up for not wanting to do it or not wanting to go out there. And when opportunities came, I still was reluctant to get on the highway. But then there was an instance where my significant other was out of town visiting family. They had picked him up to bring him, and he didn't have a way to get back. And he really wanted to come home. Like, he was kind of stranded there, and no one was able to bring him back. So he asked me to come, and of course, I have a car. I drive my car all the time in city limits, but I don't go on the highway. And, you know, I was more comfortable driving myself than riding with others. Even though when the accident happened, I was the one that was driving the car and had the control. But it just made me feel more comfortable to know that I'm the driver. So anyway, after a long episodes of conversations and guilt trips, I felt so guilty, that this person that I'm with, they would do anything for me, and all they're asking for is to come home, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I think that the love that I felt for him and the guilt that I felt about letting my fear stop me from helping someone that I care about really took over, and I forced myself and said, I'm doing it. And a lot of times when we're afraid to do something, like driving, because I have a couple of people that I know that have had the same issue too. It's more like even flying. Once you do it and you're there, after a time of the anxiety being at its height, it has to start to come down. And that's what happened. When I first got in the car, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm driving. And then, the anxiety is really high. But it was a 2 hour drive. So, after 45 minutes, you're not going to be way up here. You're going to start to come down. You're going to start to relax. You're going to start to say, oh, I'm doing it. And everything's still fine. And, that kind of mentality and thought helped me to get all the way through. And actually, when I got there, he drove us back. So, I was just really proud of myself. And I have drove the highway ever since then. I don't volunteer for it. I mean, I still would rather be a passenger because I'm not big on long road trips anyway. But I was just proud of myself that I faced my fear. And sometimes that's what we have to do. And no one can force you. Like, no one can say, here, you better do it. Like swimming, for instance. No one can say, oh, you're afraid of water, and then just push you into the water and expect that you're going to get over your fear. That's like the worst way to treat somebody with a fear. They have to get to the point where they're frustrated with it and they feel like they need to make a change. And once they get to that point, they'll take those steps when they're ready. And it took me some years to get there, but I did. And, it always helps to have people in your corner saying positive things that you can do it. And, just think of the big picture of how many people do this certain action that you're afraid of all the time and nothing happens to them. That helped me a lot. I also think that love is a lot stronger than fear, and maybe guilt is too. So I just wanted to share that story with you guys of how I got over my fear of driving the highway. And, I'm still not comfortable when a semi truck passes us or gets too close when we're on the highway. It's still not my favorite place to be, but I know that I can do it, and I know that I'm not going to let it stop me from living life and being happy and going to all the beautiful places that I want to visit. So I hope this helped you. I hope that if you do have a fear of something, that that don't let people pressure you into getting over something. Like, sometimes you need to look back at why did this even start and analyze that, and or think about what it was like before that, because sometimes we don't even have these fears and we're fine, and then all of a sudden they just pop up and it overtakes us. So just realize that you can go back there. You can go back to a place where this wasn't something that I focused on, because the more you focus on something, good or bad, the more that you're going to get that. So don't focus on your fear. Focus on what you want. If you want to be able to be free to do something without worry and without fear, then you need to focus on what it would be like to have that. So anyway, leave a comment below if you have any fears of your own that you've gotten over, or if you have a fear that you would like to get over. I'd really like to hear about your story. And thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you found it interesting or you found anything helpful about it. And I'll see you in the next video. My name's LaKesha, Virgo Vibe, out. Hey everybody, it's LaKesha from Virgo Vibe. Hey everybody. Oh, okay. Hey everybody, it's LaKesha from Virgo Vibe. I'm coming to you today to tell you a little story about today I wanted to talk to you about my Hi everybody, it's LaKesha. Great, stop swaying. So, and also I guess love is pretty much make sure to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe to this video